What's good, y'all? We are back once again with a brand new philosophical sessions video where we like to ask each other a question which is completely a surprise to whomever is being asked the question, where we like to, take that question and just let our thoughts go, grow, and flow. I'm Kylan, and this is my beautiful wife,
Takara.
and together we're the host of Mutual Intentional Love. So, wife, are you ready for this question?
Yep.
So, I was giving it some thought, and my question is, although it's kind of like several parts to it, the question is either do you feel the school system works? And regardless whether you think it works or not, what would you change about it to make it better?
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. That's the question.
Do I feel the school system works?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Yep.
And either way, what would I change?
Yeah. What would you change? Because I have some very definite
Well-
ideas and opinions about it.
Well, I feel like no. I feel like what is even the point, honestly? And that's what I would change. I'd make it have a point. Because it's like the stuff that they learn is like, what is the point of learning that?
Yeah.
And they should actually learn life skills. We talked about this on who knows which video, but we definitely talked about this before, where like emotional intelligence, teach that, how to cope, how to deal with like real life situations.
Yeah.
So those like Montessori schools, isn't that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
Those I think. I haven't got to actually witness the results, but I would imagine those type schools, yeah, they do, or like where they get to learn skills like during school, like as far as like where something where they could take those skills that they learned and still do it in a profession, because the classes and the content of the classes, you're just literally learning to pass a test and never use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that one sign where it was like, you're forced to be here all these hours throughout the day. The food should be free. Like, is this a prison? But although food is free in prison. But,
yep.
But that's just like a whole nother point. Like, why do I have to pay? Like just all the things. What were you gonna add to it?
For me, it's a definite no. I don't think it works. I think the entire structuring of the school system is archaic and outdated. It doesn't serve the present time at all, and it creates a culture that is not really helpful for creating sustainability as far as mental health and emotional health. There isn't much good that's coming out of the school system.
Right.
The teachers are overworked,
and
spread thin, underpaid, and unhappy. They're having to fill several roles to try and force a curriculum and all of these things that don't necessarily align with individualized approaches, with a broad blanket approach, and try and force children to learn a certain way, a certain thing that either they don't have the desire to learn, the capacity to learn in the way in which it's being taught, or even just the interest in whatever it is that they're being forced to learn. And I feel like that's harmful, especially with the testing culture being what it is. You're forcing children to learn something, and now you're judging them based on their ability to perform in the way that you want them to perform for this particular test. which is either reflective on their study habits or what information they've been given, how the information's been given to them, and as well as their circumstances of their personal lives outside of school, if it even is conducive of allowing them to be able to focus on their studies.
Yeah.
Because a lot of children have to work to help support their entire family because the rest of the economic situations are entirely messed up. So it's spilling over into all areas of their lives.
Yeah. Well, clearly we're talking about high school
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And even middle school. Middle school
Okay.
and high school.
Okay.
As soon as a
But I
kid
was
is
just
old
thinking about
enough
the
to be able to
babies
work.
coming home from school.
Right.
They're not working.
Right. But going to even that is just
Yeah.
forcing them to feel a certain way about their intelligence.
Yeah.
And it doesn't reflect their intelligence. How they take a test and what they're being tested on isn't reflective of their overall intelligence and value to society.
Right. Right.
A child may have an extremely high intelligence and aptitude for construction. They're good with their hands, they're good with crafts, they're good with building things, but they may not necessarily be good at taking a science test or even a math test, but they're able to learn the particular set that they need to do what they have to do. They're good at geometry, but not algebra because they need to know the angles and where to cut the lumber and all of these different things that go with the particular interest that they have, the skill that they have, and the purpose that they have. So I really feel like if we were to restructure the school system and instead of having it focused on just repetitive learning habits of a lot of which is not necessarily useful, even amongst the things that are geared towards specific field, like if you're learning political science or political history, if you're not going into politics, it's not as helpful for you to know that. A little bit, sure, just to have basic knowledge of how the government is functioning and what you're going to be able to do as a regular citizen that's not in politics. You should know how to vote. You should know how your vote works. You should know your elected officials, who is doing what within your community. Those things you should know. And also, you should be taught in school when voting happens locally and who your personal elected officials are for your district. So you actually have information that's pertinent to what's going on. Know what they're doing. If they just voted to say, you know what, you actually don't need more funding for library books, we're instead going to build a park bench. You should know that so that you can decide how you feel about that. So when it becomes time for you to vote, you can be informed on the type of things that go on the ballot that are issues that a majority of people don't know and don't even pay attention to until it's time to vote.
Right.
Just little things like that adds common sense into it and practicality and making the school system more purpose driven.
Right.
You can give options to see what the child gravitates towards and see what fits for them, and they should be aided in furthering their knowledge, not tested and judged on what they're able to grasp and understand and remember through this specific area. Now, I can see how that might be slightly more difficult with having so many children. Maybe it would be better to have schools that are like literally sectioned by what it is that you're able to teach, what crafts you're able to teach, what particular fields of the career force that you're able to teach, instead of let's just send 1,000 kids to this school and teach them everything. That may not work. Perhaps have a place where you can test the aptitude of each child to see what their interest is, what they would like to do,
Yeah.
what area they might like to pursue, and leave it open for them to also grow and decide this isn't for me. Let me try something else.
Yeah. I mean, I went to a school where they did have something similar like
Mm-hmm.
that, like where, but it was only, I feel like it was only like the last 2 years of high school. It might have been all of high school, but that's the thing. It wasn't even like really talked about enough to even know how it works. Because I just remember seeing the kids like in their uniforms and thinking like, how come, or they get to leave, and it's like, how come they get to leave? And
Yeah,
I learned about they called it a career academy through seeing somebody else get to do it. It was already too late for me.
yeah.
Like I didn't know anything about it, and I just think that so they at least got
Offer
on
of
that
course
track.
a course, but even that
Yeah,
is just a course. It's not the bulk of the curriculum. It's
yeah,
not really an option to say, you know what, instead of me going through all of these years of elementary school and middle school and high school and then deciding I would like to now spend 8 years, 10 years in college learning how to become a doctor, that could start earlier. If
yeah,
you show an aptitude for being able to do that and a desire to do that, you can start learning early to
mm-hmm.
where you are in middle school. You have some level of maturity. And I feel like the maturity level of even children is higher when they have some level of autonomy and choice, and they can choose that, this is something I want to do, so I'm not going to mess this up. I'm going to pay attention. I want to do this,
Yeah,
so I'm actually going to do the things necessary to get to the end result. I
yeah.
would like to be a doctor, actually, so let me pay attention to what I'm learning,
That's so good.
instead of telling me, oh, well, you actually need to learn about what the ancient Greeks did with this Trojan horse, because you're going to need to build a big wooden horse at some point in your life.
Yeah.
They don't teach you how to build it. So you're still not learning a practical skill. You're not learning woodworking. You're just being fed information that's interesting. It
Yeah.
does help go to understanding the foundation of societies where they came from, but it's really not very helpful in your day-to-day life.
Right.
So like all the time how you talk about the random knowledge that I have. It
Yeah.
is random knowledge. I
Yeah.
know a lot of things. I don't need to know that the name Sideburns originated from the Union General Ambrose Burnsides, but I know this. Why do I know this? I read it in a encyclopedia for fun. But what does that do for me? Like I haven't been on Jeopardy yet, and I haven't seen them ask that question not once in all the years of watching it. So what does that necessarily do for the children of the future who are trying to become sustainable functioning adults in society? We don't The school system doesn't teach them the things that are actually necessary. And like we said in the other episode that you brought up earlier, teach them how to be emotionally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't test them, teach them. You're not there to test children, you're there to teach children.
Right.
So actually give them useful knowledge that can make our society better. These are the people that are going to be the next generation. They're going out to the world where you're upset that you turn on the news and you see the kids that are out in the streets doing whatever random activities. They want to go party and drink and do drugs and have, little stupid petty crimes that children commit, and stealing lip gloss and just little stupid things that if we gave them something that interests them, that gives them purpose, that gives them fulfillment, they wouldn't be gravitating towards other aspects of life that are less savory. And I really feel like that's something that's possible and attainable. Like there are many people out there who are qualified to teach these particular skills. The children that that may need a therapist. Everyone should have a therapist because a therapist is just someone who is able to help you understand your life, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Someone who is willing to listen to you and help you learn how to navigate all of these things that you may find overwhelming trying to do on your own
Right.
and trying to rely on other people in your life to do it. Because say you put all this pressure on your parent to try and teach you things that they were never taught. They don't understand. They don't know how to help you navigate your emotions because they struggle with the same thing. So it's just the same cycle repeating over and over. They always tell you, I went through that too when I was your age. Okay, great. How does that help me if you are still not able to give me information other than, hey, I went through the same thing, good luck?
Right.
My mama and daddy didn't know what to do either.
Oh, joy.
Helpful. Thanks for that, actually. And then it just keeps repeating and repeating until that's literally insanity. Doing the same thing over and
I
over again,
know.
expecting a different result. But that's the thing. We're not even expecting a different result anymore. We've accepted and gotten comfortable with this is just how things are
Right. Because
and
it's been so long.
keep
Like,
going along
how?
with it.
Right. How has
How
it
do you get
taken place this
to
long?
the next phase of growth in life
Right.
when the powers that be and the systems in place are meant to maintain what they've already put in place?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. There should always be forward momentum and growth with everything in life. Everything should be consistently being updated within a certain number of years. Like, we're in the US. We get a new election for a new president every 4 years. Everything should be refreshing. There shouldn't be the same people in charge of the government being able to keep running over and over again. You get one term, you're out. You had your chance to make a difference. What you did with it's up to you. Do something new. Everyone, and it shouldn't be the way things are structured. I take issue with fundamentally because they don't make sense for the literally the society that is supposed to be serving and creating more and more opportunities for better lives. It's not happening. And especially right now, things are they just feel so much worse.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot considering it really wasn't all that great before. It's always had its struggles and its problems. And I feel like that the school system itself is no different with that. But the growth has stopped. The desire to grow and the willingness to change is non existent.
Mm-hmm.
So we just keep forcing the same thing over and over again that's proving not to be beneficial for our mental and emotional health and our society. These are the people that we force to do certain things X, Y, and Z throughout school. And then they graduate and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know where they want to go. They're told, the next step is for you to find a job where you have to have 4 years of experience before you get an entry level job because that makes sense.
Right.
And then they say, well, you can't find a job, go off to the military. If you can't read or write and find a job, go fight. Because that makes sense. Why? Why is that the way it's built to work? I truly don't understand it, and I feel like it could be so much better.
Yeah.
And just be open to the options of how it could be made better instead of continuing to do something that does not work.
That was good, babe.
Yeah, man.
I wish there was more we could do to like.
So do I, man.
Yeah.
And that's the things that the people say. Well, you know all this go. Go vote. Get on your school board. That does nothing. You're just
Right.
putting a band-aid on a giant crack in the ship that is sinking. The band-aid's not going to cover it.
Right.
It doesn't work. The issue is not the hole in the ship. The problem is the ship. We need a new one. We shouldn't have this old wooden boat in 2026. And it's just so especially concerning to me now, having children of my own.
Yeah.
I really don't have the desire for them to just be thrown into the pipeline, and the repetitive nature that we see is not working.
Yeah.
And then they say the alternative is homeschool. And it's not much of an alternative because one, it's not widely respected because they want you to do what everyone else is doing. They want you to go to a public school or a private school and have the same experience as everybody else. But even the responsibility of teaching is on the parents, but it's also on the teachers whose job it is to teach. We should be able to have the supplemental role. We should be able to parent our children, not have to teach what should be taught within a place that's meant for learning. Now, that's not to say, because I love knowledge. I love teaching our babies.
Mm-hmm.
But the bulk of that experience should not be on us. Although I do feel that it is helpful to have our presence and our part in the teaching process.
Yeah, definitely.
So that they're not solely relying on what's taught outside of the home. They should be taught from us, but they should also have the opportunity to learn by individuals who have spent their lives dedicated to teaching and who are able to teach certain things that are beyond our knowledge. And I just want the best for these babies, our babies especially, but everybody's babies.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
the world.
Yeah, but the reality is looking pretty dismal. So, it's
Another song. I believe the children are the future.
Lord.
Because they are. So
Yeah, man.
we should help the future.
That was the question for this week, and we would
That was
love to
good,
hear your thoughts on this conversation. What you think was potentially helpful that could actually make these things reality.
And even the counter arguments.
Yeah, the counter arguments. Why you feel like the school system works as it is right now? Do you feel that way?
To change it.
To change it, yeah. So let us know. Let us know your thoughts. What you thought about our conversation, the conversations you have, how your school experience went, and how you feel that works. Because if you are in a place in your life now that you've been at a school for a long time, think back. Remember what it was like for you, and then think about what it is now. If you're a parent now, you should be realizing the differences and the similarities that exist within the school system, and even particularly as parents whose children now go to some of the same schools we went to, and you're able to walk in the place and it looks exactly the same as it did several years ago. That's a problem.
Is it?
That's a problem.
Why?
A structure built for learning that hasn't been updated since the 80s and 90s
I mean, some
is a
things
problem.
have been.
Some things.
But the internal framework, like,
is problematic. It should be renovated. It should be updated. You're just using the same place without revamping it.
I don't know about that one.
How?
Who's paying for that?
Exactly. But we have to don't get me started, man, on the money wasted by our government instead of putting into where it should be going.
Right.
We got plenty of police cruisers.
Oh, And so we are here to say, stay well and prosper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just stay well and prosper, y'all, and do what makes sense. Learn something new every day for yourself. Teach it to somebody else. Teach the children. Spend some time with your children. If you're sitting there watching us right now and you got some kids, bring them in and bring them into this conversation. See how they feel about school. See how they think the school system is working for them. What would they change about it? Because ultimately it's about them
Yeah.
and their eventual children that they're going to have. So what are y'all going to do different?
Yeah.
Let us know, man. So as always, everybody, keep it intentional and support love. Stay well and prosper, y'all. Peace.